I would like to start by saying welcome everyone. Before we start the garden update video, a message to my regular viewers. You may have been wondering why there has not been any garden update for some time. Long story short, my video editing computer was down. Various computer repair experts could not agree on what the issue was. They basically wanted an obscene amount of money to replace and upgrade all major components or buy a whole new system. At the same time, I had to replace and install a new roof, a new water heater, central AC, etc., etc. It's been quite a year. I am encouraged to see a worldwide massive interest in gardening and gardeners planting a wider range of biodiverse plants. I know time is valuable to all of us. Those who follow my channel and other extreme zone pushers, if I can call us that, gleaning information to take their gardens to the next level. Also, a lot of work goes into my current videos for this channel. Between finding time to shoot the videos, researching relevant information, and editing to provide what is hopefully a pleasant viewing experience. There is an increasing amount of misinformation out there. By sharing my adventures or misadventures, you can see I have already made the mistakes, so you don't have to. I try to keep my videos to a certain standard. I also try to present accurate, truthful information and only put out a video when I have something important to share. Currently, my videos are not monetized, so I do not benefit financially. I do very much appreciate my loyal viewers and subscribers who watch and re-watch for various reasons and enjoy the content I create. I realize this gardening style is not for everyone. This can be a long-term commitment and it can become an obsession. Then there is the ever-increasing cost of acquiring quality plants, building custom winter protective enclosures, and providing energy to heat during our unpredictable winters. Whether you are a keen gardener yourself, gathering ideas and information to perhaps add some exotic plants to your landscape, or just appreciate viewing pretty images and learning informative facts about growing seldom seen plants. If I may suggest, watch my videos on a large screen for a better viewing experience. Lastly, more videos are on their way. Enjoy. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my exotic tropical style garden here in Hardiness Zone 5B, Southern Ontario, Canada. I hope you're all doing well. My garden is a result of a lifetime of plant collecting and propagating. Currently, I am growing 170 plus species of plants. I would like to say that what I and my exotic style gardening colleagues are doing is totally impractical, unrealistic, and can be expensive. But it is not typical, nor is it boring. I am of course referring to tropical style gardeners in colder climates who take extraordinary measures. To be clear, most of these plants would not survive without extreme winter protection. For those of you who are new to my channel, I have been experimenting with growing exotic and tropical style plants in the ground for over 30 years. Let's start with a list of plants from 2024 that did not make it. The main cause of death? Improper watering during cold temperatures. The Queen Emma crinum was eaten by Narcissus fly larvae who ate the bulb from the inside out. Foundation planting at the front of the house, the most tropical section. This coming winter, I will improve this area with extra heat, better air circulation, a better watering routine, and a minimum of 13 hours of light, natural and artificial. and a more airtight winter protection enclosure. Here are some of the new plants in the ground for 2025. These are some of the highlights of the tropical section. Just a reminder, these plants are permanently in the ground. This is one full year since garden renovation. Let's start the tour at this end. Here are some of the new plants added in 2025 at this end of the garden. This is the blue skyflower or Bengal clock vine, Thunbergia grandiflora. It has a trellis to climb on. Once established, it is a fast-growing vine which scrambles all over, reaching for more sun, attaching itself to any higher plant. It does need to be kept in check. In the tropics, it can cover large areas, smothering massive trees. Duranta is a beautiful shrub or small tree. It flowers throughout the summer, attracting pollinators non-stop with its bluish lavender-colored flowers. It is called golden dewdrop because it produces clusters of these golden drop-shaped fruits if the flowers are successfully pollinated. The split-leaf philodendron Salome, also called tree philodendron, Thalmatophyllum bipinnatifidum. The tree philodendron is a bold foliage plant, producing ever larger vibrant green leaves. This one was planted in the spring of 2022. It does tolerate short periods of frost. I also grow several others in containers around the front garden, particularly a cluster around the pygmy date palm near the driveway. The cat palm is a clumping palm, resembling an areca palm or Dipsas lutescens, but these are more cold hardy. Plumbago auriculata, zones 8 through 11. Plumbago is extremely easy to grow. It should be more widely used in northern gardens as a summer annual. When overwintered indoors, it will get larger each year, easily pruned and trained as an upright standard. It adds a tropical touch to any garden. It is a beautiful tropical shrub flowering throughout the warm weather months. I do seem to have a fondness for bluish flowers. Tecoma stans is a fast-growing subtropical shrub, much loved by pollinators. Grown in full sun, it produces clusters of lightly fragrant tubular flowers all season long. Virtually every branch tip is covered with these cheerful yellow blooms. When pollinated, they produce these long pods filled with hundreds of thin papery seeds. It is a tough plant, not caring much about soil type or regular watering. Peruvian daffodil, Hymenocallis festalis, zones 8 through 11. Hymenocallis meaning beautiful membrane. This is a tropical flowering bulb. A hybrid cross produces these very exotic, unusual, and fragrant flowers. The bulbs multiply over the years, forming a large clump of amaryllis-like strap-shaped leaves. I have had to tie them up as they were leaning towards the front steps. This year I was able to hand pollinate and get it to set seed, first time in decades. The seed resembles a green golf ball. Mexican spider lily, Hymenocallis hericiana, zones 8 to 10. Another tropical flowering bulb with extremely long, white tubular flowers. The leaves emerge in late spring, growing quickly, sending up flower spikes. During the heat of midsummer, the leaves die back. You would never know the plant was there, apart from leaving behind marble-sized seeds. Coral hibiscus or Japanese lantern, Hibiscus schizopetalis, zone 10 to 12. This rare and lovely hibiscus originates in eastern Africa. It prefers growing in full sun in rich, moist, well-drained soil. This plant replaces the large, bright red hibiscus that was growing in this location. It looked dead after winter. Sometimes it is best not to rush in replacing your plants in the spring. They may surprise you and re-sprout. I did have another of these bright red hibiscus, the same size, to replace it should anything happen, and also about a dozen cuttings growing from last fall's pre-winter cutback. I chose instead to plant this Hibiscus schizopetalis, which is doing very well in the ground after being in a container for many years. This giant crinum lily is one of my favorite plants in the garden. It is becoming a sizable specimen. The leaves currently measure about 5 feet or 1.5 meters long. Not bad for only being in the ground just over 1 year. I'm always happy to see the fragrant flowers on these giant stalks. Over time, this crinum does produce offsets, but should you want more of these plants quicker, you can hand pollinate and get some seeds. This is a straightforward process. Use a tissue to gather fresh pollen and transfer to the stigma or multiple stigmata. Do this a few times during the day, as the female flower parts are not always as receptive. When successful, the seeds will start to enlarge, usually within a couple weeks. I found by placing a mesh plastic bag or some old nylons over them, it does discourage animals. And as the seeds mature, they will not fall off and or be damaged or get lost. Angel's Trumpet, Brugmansia. When in bloom, this tree gets more attention and comments from passers-by than any other. This Angel's Trumpet, or Brugmansia, with its huge, fragrant, trumpet-shaped flowers, screams exotic. I have trained it with selective pruning to grow wider than taller, to produce more flowers at eye level. Every year it is pruned back hard, 6 to 8 feet, or 2 to 2.5 meters, before winter protection is put up. This royal purple bougainvillea is about 30 years old. For many people, its color and growth habit brings back memories of Mediterranean or tropical vacations. It can bloom year-round. I've noticed, like many bougainvillea, it starts blooming heaviest when day and night are roughly equal length. It is drought tolerant, but grows especially well with extra watering and a little feed. This is how it looked after being cut back hard last July during this garden's renovation. And this is how it looked 1 year later. Extremely fast growing, it sends out long branches 6 to 10 feet or 2 to 3 meters in one summer. The flowers are the small whitish part in the center, while the colored portion is called a bract and can last for many, many weeks. Calla lily, Xanthodycia captamorano, zone 7B to 10B. This beautiful calla lily was in a container for many years. Since being in the ground, it has grown roughly double its size in height and width. One curious thing, the flower color seems to be more variable. It opens as more of a yellow-orange, then maturing to a deeper red, and many of the flowers have a blotchy color pattern. It did capture a lot of people's attention, with some people requesting a piece of the plant. It can be grown by division of its corms or rhizomes, but also from seed. It does set seed readily, but it can take several years to flower. The leaves do die back naturally as the season progresses. In spring, they quickly resprout, looking fuller than ever. This cane-type begonia, I believe it is maculata cultivar. It's been on my wish list for many years. I finally found and bought one this spring as a small plant in a 3-inch pot. This usually grows 2 to 3 feet or 60 to 90 centimeters tall. I have personally seen them reach heights of 6 to 10 feet or up to 3 meters. Coral plant, Rousselia equisetiformis. This coral plant, which has started from seed, did surprisingly well over winter, so well that I added a second clump to it this spring. After seeing it growing in a Mediterranean climate, unprotected at several locations, I thought, why not try it in my own garden? When sowing the tiny seeds, which are smaller than grains of sand, sprinkle the seeds lightly onto pre-moistened soil mix or a flat seed tray, then wrap the whole thing in a plastic bag to keep in the moisture. Place in a bright, warm location out of direct sun. The seeds do germinate rapidly. Once the young plants are about 3/4 of an inch or 2 centimeters tall, pot up several in a 6-inch or 15 centimeter pot and grow on for a year before planting out. The coral plant performs best growing in a full sun location where it can reach 4 to 5 feet or up to 1.5 meters tall. It is a hummingbird magnet. For many tropical style gardeners, the orange bird of paradise, Strelitzia reginae, is the must-have exotic plant. This quintessential subtropical is the emblem for the city of Los Angeles. Once established, they thrive on neglect. Once the flowers fade, I remove the stalks close to the ground. Here I did hand pollinate one to show that it can be done successfully. They do produce viable seeds, but I really do not need any more seeds. I have limited space in my garden. For me, the flowers are most unique and unusual, but planted in the ground, they also become a mealybug magnet, and the roots can be tough to control as they spread with underground runners into neighboring plants, becoming too congested. This makes it difficult to clean and treat for various problems. I'm really challenging myself with this plant for something really tropical and exotic. How about this beauty? This is the parrot heliconia or Heliconia sedicorum. Growing in a pot for many years and being divided multiple times, I was not prepared for how quickly it settled in and put out new growth and produced these exquisite blooms. With regular watering and feeding with chicken manure pellets, this Heliconia seems to like its new home, at least for now. It prefers a warmer climate year-round, never going under 10 Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit. Heliconia spread with underground rhizomes. During active growth, it takes up more water and nutrients, producing leaves at a rapid rate. Once the stalk flowers, it will not flower again. By the way, the flowers last for many weeks. In my region of the Great Lakes, the 2025 summer was hotter than average, helping this plant take off. New growth and flower stalks were coming up some distance from the mother plant into neighboring plants like this abutilon. Abutilon, commonly called flowery maple because of its leaf shape, to me the flowers remind me of a small hibiscus flower. I bought this plant a couple of years ago as a small tree. It was fairly pricey, but they are not commonly seen in nurseries in my area, and when available there is little or no selection of colors. Hardy down to zone 8, it should perform well in my garden. I am waiting for this one to fill in and put on some height, to keep it from being swallowed up by its neighbors. This Mexican red guava made it through the winter well. When new growth began, it was quickly followed by flowers. I was hoping to keep the tree pruned to 3 to 4 feet in height at this location, but it has already put on 3 feet of new growth this season alone. There was a good fruit set considering the size of the tree. Last year, I lost all the fruit to local squirrels. This year, at the end of July, the tree was still flushing out new growth and more flowers, all of which were pollinated. If the fruit survives the animals, it can take up to 6 months to ripen. Tropical hibiscus, Rosa sinensis. This variety is called Playboy. This tropical hibiscus, with its large, very boldly colored flowers, stood out this season. In early August, over 6 feet tall, or 2 meters tall. With all the heat this summer, it has performed very well. I really had to stay on top of the watering routine, as it has been challenging with so many plants growing close together. Not every plant needs the same amount of water. I was concerned especially about its beautiful neighbor, this white and yellow plumeria. Some days, by mid-afternoon, the blooms would start to wilt. On cooler days, the flowers would last up to 4 days. I will try to pinch it back to encourage more bushy growth. More branches equals more blooms. Plumeria rubra, zones 10 to 12. This plumeria seems to have survived the winter. By the first week of May, as the weather warmed up, it was sending out new leaves. Virtually every branch tip had flower buds showing. Within a few short weeks after that, it started blooming and carried on till October. The flowers are not only beautiful, they are sweetly fragrant. Plumeria flowers always bring back fond memories of family vacations to the tropics. So, why was I concerned? If you look at the size of the leaves, they are growing, but remaining very small. Compare this to their size last year. That is substantially different. I did ask several exotic plant professionals at various botanical gardens their opinions on what might be going on. No one had an answer. Philodendron Xanadu, or Thaumatophilum Xanadu, zones 9 through 11. One of my favorite tropical foliage plants is this Philodendron Xanadu, now renamed Thaumatophilum. This is a clump-forming evergreen with deeply lobed leaves. It takes full sun, part sun, and briefly tolerates temperatures down below freezing to -6 or 20 Fahrenheit. The Swiss cheese plant Monstera deliciosa is a great specimen plant on its own. Speaking of bold foliage plant, this much beloved houseplant is unmatched worldwide. It can survive a variety of lighting conditions and for many people thrives with minimal care. This is how it looked in 2024, being overwhelmed by faster growing plants. You can barely see the leaves. While shopping at one of my favorite nurseries this past winter, I spotted several amazing foliage plants, including this fuller looking specimen, which I had to have. I bought them and had them delivered once the weather improved. The friendly staff expertly packed and transported them to my front door, arriving without snapping any of the leaves. The sizable monstera, which measured approximately 8 feet wide, sat in my living room till I could dismantle one end of my winter protection enclosure. So, after about 11 years in this spot, the old monstera was dug up and replaced. The soil was amended and the monster went in. Standing back some distance from the new planting, I think to myself, it's not that big. With the ever warmer days of summer, new growth was immediate. To acclimatize the monstera, I shaded it with a large potted clump of Musa acuminata or Cavendish dwarf bananas, gradually giving it more direct sun. Lantana chimera shamrock. This lantana bush came through the winter okay. I say okay because in late winter I had my doubts. This is how it looked. 2 small twigs with fresh leaves. It quickly filled in and started blooming with a vengeance. The flowers open a vivid yellow, aging into a deep red. Lantana attracts pollinators of all kinds, including hummingbirds. By the end of the season, the ugly duckling was a swan. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video or learned something, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It will cost you nothing, but it does help my channel to grow, and also give it a like. This will help other gardeners to find this content on YouTube. Until next time, happy gardening!